Okay, before I start this video, I'm gonna say this straight out. There's not gonna be any visuals to this, because I don't have the money to pay for stock images. And if this video ain't for you, go ahead and click off, because there's not gonna be an outro on your thing. But I'd like to ask you all one simple question. What would you do if you were famous for a day? Sounds like a very simple question at first, doesn't it? But it's not. I'm going to sit here and explain to you how it's not. And I'm also going to sit here and explain to you what I would do. One, if you're famous for a day, there's many factors that could fall into if you even get to do anything or not. But let's just assume, in this scenario, you're famous for a day, and you're in perfect condition to do whatever you please for a day. Think about it. You only have 24 hours. 24 hours may seem like a lot, but it's not. It's nothing. To anyone watching this who may know me, you probably already know where I'm going with this. And also, to anyone who knows me that's watching this, I am fine. Don't worry about me. I'm a little bit sick, but other than that, I'm fine. But 24 hours isn't as much as people like to think. Because you can't do as much as you want to in 24 hours. Because I only said what would you do if you were famous for a day? I didn't say anything about if you had the money. You could do a massive charity thing to get you all that money, and you'd still have it by the end of the 24 hours. Be a good use of your time. So, a lot of people would probably pick something like that. They'd probably pick get the attention or something for a day. Mine's a bit different. Because I'd only have 24 hours. Whatever I did in that 24 hours would still stick and still happen. I would choose to be interviewed by someone. And since there would be no struggle to get there, to get to being famous, you wouldn't have any story to tell. All that would be there would be your raw experiences over your life. What's going to drive you forward to see if you can actually get in that seat again? I'm guaranteeing that's going to be one of the main questions, because even the reporter's going to know it's only for a day. A day isn't as much as you think. However, in the interview scenario of getting interviewed for the day, there's a few things I'd go over. I'd go over how I've been screwed over by people, how I've made friends with people, and even how I plan to make it back to the seat that I'm sitting in that day. And if I do ever make it up to that seat and become famous, that's when you'll all hear my story. And I'm going to give you a fair warning if it ever does happen. It could be a story of struggle and perseverance, but you're mainly going to hear one of pain. One that tells you directly straight up to your face the world is not the cupcakes and rainbows everyone wants you to think it is. The harsh reality of everything that we know today is that it can get better. How is that a harsh reality, you may ask? Because we don't choose to make it better. There's very few and far between of people who didn't actually choose to be in a scenario that they're in. Because whether you like to admit it or not, 9 times out of 10, one choice that you made in your past has led up to you being who you are today. Think about it. How many times have you had the chance to save money and stop getting those things that don't mean much in the long run? How many times have you blamed yourself for something that someone else has done, which was never your fault? Silence alone can be a powerful tool now, can't it? And see, if something's easy, it's not worth it. That's why I think a lot of people don't really understand the depth of the question, what would you do if you were famous for a day? If you were famous for a day, you probably couldn't keep up your morals. I don't care how morally sound you are, a lot of people couldn't do it. Want to know why? Because there was no struggle, there was no process to getting there. You were just there. There was no process to get to the top, you were just at the top. And by the time the 24 hours is over, you're going to end up feeling much more empty than what you initially expected to feel like. I'm planning on actually putting in that effort to try and make myself get to the top. Throughout my past, I've had a lot of situations that I could not choose. But at this point forward, I have a situation that I choose. I could have a group of people that I choose to be with, that I choose to actually push forward into the next tomorrow. And whether you, the viewer on the other end of this, decides to go away from this video and say, I'm actually going to do something, or I'm not going to do anything and I'm just going to go back to doing the same mundane thing that I always do, living in my own detriment, alright, that's your choice. But if you end up feeling unfulfilled, you're not doing the right thing. Nothing worth doing is ever easy. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more. If you choose to be in the same life that you have currently, that's your choice. And if you're happy with the way things are right now in your life, in your current situation, alright. I'm not your mother. I don't care what goes on about your day. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And if you're not feeling like you're doing the right thing, you're probably not. Don't let the peer pressure of others make it seem like you're doing the wrong thing when you're really doing the right thing. But I think the main moral here is that it doesn't really matter what other people think. It matters what you think about yourself. And by the end of the day, if you feel like you're unfulfilled, if you're disappointed in yourself, half the time it's on you. Just remember this: regret will hurt worse than anything you will ever know. Thank you for your time.